Hey folks, we got a pretty cool episode for you tonight. We've got an artist, photographer, podcast host, and member of the Tracks and Tackle Collaborative, Dennon Yorks, joining us tonight. Tune in, this should be a pretty fun conversation. Hey, hunting family, welcome back to Tracks and Tackle. This is a podcast where we deep dive into everything outdoors. I am Ron Menser with Menser Outdoors, and I got with me my beloved co-host, Chris Bookman from 3B Outdoors. And tonight we're kicking it, man. Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. Enjoying summer heat wave we got going on right now. Got a little tropical shirt on for you tonight. Mix it up a little bit.
Love it, man. I dig it. I can do the Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, I'm one of the Boogaloo Boys. Remember that group that came out for a little while? That's a roundtable. That's a roundtable podcast talk.
Yeah. So, hey, we got a cool guest tonight. We're bringing on one of our brothers from the Tracks and Tackle Collaborative. He's an artist. He's a podcast host. He's a photographer. He's a man of many talents. He's Mr. Dennon Yorks. We'll bring Dennon on. How you doing, Dennon?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? He's also my dude.
What's up, dude?
What's up, buddy?
What's up?
That's how I used to greet him like that every day. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? If I never got a dude, I knew it was a bad day.
Yeah, yep.
So you guys go back. Chris introduced Dennon to the show, and Dennon, you got a podcast, Tales from the Loft. Mm-hmm. And you're part of the collaborative, man, effort that we got here going our network.
I'm trying. First episode I had Chris on, it recorded him beautifully. I mean, his audio is just perfect. Everything you want. My audio is absolute garbage.
Yeah. So. There's an Easter egg in there. There's a traveling salesman that comes up to us on a Segway, and because we recorded it outside around my fire pit. And just the guy comes rolling up, and you get our interaction. Let's say it that way.
We get your interaction. I genuinely thought this was like a friend of yours, and then it went south, and you were like, "Get off my lawn!" I was like, "Oh God, oh no."
Chris is friendly with everybody. This guy comes up, and you just naturally think he's just somebody in the neighborhood that Chris is friends with.
Yeah,
yeah.
How it goes. So good time though. We had a good time on that episode.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, no, cool. Tales of the Loft is, Dennon, you can explain it, I guess, a little bit, but it's kind of your, you processing out loud and talking about stuff that you find interesting, and it's from your loft.
It is my loft apartment. I just kind of always wanted to do podcasting. I had it out as an avid listener. I was like, anyone can start this, so I paid an ungodly amount of money for the equipment that just sits around half the time, but
right.
Yeah, my idea was to just have people on and talk. There's a comedian called Ari Shafir who, when he first got into podcasting, he'd mainly have his like comedian buddies on, but then through life and travels that took him, he was like, I just want to have people or topics I don't know about come on and just talk to me. So he had a whole gambit of just random people. If he was visiting somewhere and he bumped into someone at a coffee shop, he was like, come tell me about where I am. Tell me about life experiences, anything and everything. And like, they're still archived because he's doing a different podcast now. But like every now and then I'll just still roam through his archive of stuff just for interesting people and different things. So that's kind of where I took it. I was like, I just want to have anyone and everyone tell me something, teach me something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know the first time that we met, we started talking about, different things, and we identify like there are certain areas where, we had common interests. And once we found that common ground, conversation really takes off. And I truly believe that you can learn something from everybody that you encounter. Mm-hmm. And you can probably teach everybody something too, because we all carry something. And so that's an awesome concept.
All right, Dennon, hit us with your hunting bio, your background, how you got into hunting, and then roll into your first deer kill. That's a pretty cool story.
So my hunting background, for the most part, was always fishing, like just catching fish off the riverside, stuff like that. Never really had the want or the need to go actually hunting. Not that I'm against it, but just wasn't my thing at the time. And then, my brother went hunting and that looked fun. I have a close friend of mine, family friend of mine, I should say, that's all he knows. He's practically half deer himself. So he's, always sending me pictures of all his hunts and everything. And I'm like, that looks like fun. I'd like to try that, but I wanted to do it respectfully. I wanted to do it, not with the intent of hurting anything. That's some, no one likes hurting an animal. That's something I wouldn't want to ever do. So I know that my knowledge on hunting is limited to YouTube and everything. So I was like, I need someone to just sit down with me, tell me the X, Y, and Z's of how to do everything correctly and, get this done. And thankfully the tutor or the mentor, I guess I should say, I picked is my buddy Gibbons. So he just is an avid hunter, has had a bow in his hands before he could walk. He knows the woods without need for GPS. This, he just bred and born in the woods, knows everything about it. So I think I picked a pretty good tutor for my first hunt. And as soon as I told him, I was like, "Hey man, I want to go hunting and try this out." He was, just all about it. He was like, "All right, this is what we're gonna do. This is what you need. This is how we're gonna do it." So, he's also who I bow fish with. He got me into the world of bow fishing, and that was just amazing when he's not trying to drown me. But it was fantastic. So my first hunt, get to his property because he's got a hunt house on his property. He built it himself. We get out there early morning, sun ain't even up yet, and he's telling me in his kitchen with, hey, just so you know, this might be a bust. Like, you just have to prepare. Not every hunt is successful. If we don't get anything, it's a learning experience. And I'm like, dude, I'm a sponge. I'm here to learn and just, we'll play by ear if we need to. So get out to the hunt house, which is like a whole ordeal because the night before he had to go through and clear leaves. That way we're not making noise to go to the hunt house. Get up in the hunt house. It's still dark. From someone who lives in the city compared to someone who lives in the woods, like, it's a whole different world. The trees are speaking with the wind. The leaves are going everywhere. Squirrels are bouncing back and forth. And you think you're like, deer are everywhere. This is going to be a bountiful harvest. Like, this is going to be great. Yeah. As the sun's coming up and you start, making shapes out and things like that, you're like, there's not a deer in sight. He's like, no, they're out there. But with his property specifically, there's like a lineage of 6-point deer that are just stuck in this area. They push all like the 8 points out. They push 4 points out. They don't it's just specifically 6 for the longest time. So that's kind of what Andrew's goal is for that area, is to take out some of the 6, let some of the 8 points come in, let some of the younger deer come in as well, and just, bring up the population a bit. So he tagged a 6-point for me, and we've been watching it for a couple days on his cams, and he was like, all right, it's in the area. You let me know, what night you're off work or when you want to go, and we'll do this thing. So I jumped around a little bit, but sitting in the hunt house, he's, you're whispering to each other because you don't want to talk too loud, but he's just telling me like, hey, this is what you want to look out for. Like, if you don't think you have a good shot, don't shoot. Like, just walk me through what you see, because I'm not seeing the same thing you're seeing through the scope. He has his little digital camera mounted so you can film the whole thing. It's, I'm really blessed that I got that on film my first hunt. It was great. But as we're sitting in the hunt house, there's this big old 8-point sitting there. And, as much as I wanted to take an 8, that his wife had claimed that one, so I wasn't going to shoot that. But just this talking to him, learning from him how to, listen, and you see a bunch of deer moving and it's like, okay, that's not the one you want, but like, watch how they walk through the woods. So you can kind of figure out their path, the way they move through this little gully on this property. And here comes my 6, comes walking down, left to right. And Andrew's got a beat on him before I do, because my eyes aren't naturally, looking for the deer in the woods. So a whole new thing for me. He's like, it's right there. And I'm like, you got a laser pointer or something? Because I don't see, yeah, the sun's
He's got the
out.
trained eye.
Yeah, he just knows where this thing is. So finally, it like kind of hits a clearing, and I'm like, okay, I got eyes on it. Put it in the scope. Waiting for it to come on our side of the hill. Well, where it ends up stopping for the longest bit of time, and Andrew's telling me to take the shot, there's a tree with a Y in it, and I've only got the sight through the Y. And I'm like, I don't know if it's a good shot or not. I just see deer on the other side of it. And he's, on his side, he's got the camera. He's like, dude, I see this thing all day. You're good. I'm like, I'm looking through a window between two trees. I don't know, So finally it I guess adjusted shoulder, and I saw where I needed to send it and just through the Y of the tree, nailed this thing. And it went tearing off through the woods, and buck fever. I'm sitting there shaking. He's hitting me in the arm. He's like, we did it.
That's awesome. That's the best, man.
Dude, it's so addicting. And then came the go down. We waited a good bit for it to settle because there were still other deer in the area. Went down the ravine up the other side of his neighbor's property to go collect it. And as we're walking up, is just this said a prayer before the hunt. Said a bunch of prayers during sitting there waiting for the sun to come up. I just want a good shot, Lord. Don't let me hurt this thing. Don't let us lose it. So as we're walking up, and Andrew's like, yeah, man, you did it. Great shot. He was more excited than I was. I was just a nervous ball of energy, but it just this glorious sunlight, sun rays coming through the trees, almost just pointed right where it was. And I can send you some of the pictures. I don't think I did that the last time we had talked, the pictures of it I have for my first hunt.
Yeah, we can send those pictures. We'll throw them up.
It's just for a first deer, it was that's the one you pray for. Yeah. I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful.
Bro, let me tell you, I don't know what the actual percentages are, but it's probably 90% of people that go out and hunt don't have that type of success on their first hunt, let alone the first season of hunting. I can think of, people that have hunted for 10 years before they got their first deer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. How long do you think it was? Because you're talking sunrise, and I know early morning is they're moving. How long do you think what time of day do you think it was? How long did you actually sit?
So I got to his house at about 5:30 in the morning, and in my notes that I have my first deer tag hit for it, when we went to collect him on the hilltop, it was 8:40 in the morning. So from 5:30 to about 8:40 was just a whole learning experience for me.
That's perfect. That's the perfect hunt, because you get the enjoyment of the day. And, you get to see the forest wake up and listen to all the activity, but you're not there all day long being bored. You get some action right off the go.
Well, as soon as the sun came up and I was aware, he was like, there's deer over here. There's deer over here. It just, adrenaline's pumping the whole time. It's him telling me his experiences with deer and his shooting his property and stuff. He's like, this is what you want for a first hunt. This is a great experience for you. And he was like, I'm so happy I got to be there with you for your first one.
Yeah. This speaks volumes. The type of person that is, that speaks my language too, because someone to reach out and have everything set up, not that it's lazy or given to you because you put the work in, but someone did that for you, right? That's a friend. That's that's the dude out there that's really, caring about your success and trying to get you in it. And you killed a really pretty buck for your first one. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not one that ages or judges things anyways, especially on the first day of rifle season. We go out, we call it the Taco Express. We're filling trucks, we be a little picky after that. But it's a beautiful buck, and to have it captured on film. And I said this on another podcast that you and I were on about it, but it was professionally filmed. It wasn't just a dude with a shaky cell phone or grainy pictures, right? It was really, really pro done. So
yeah, he did really good. He does that for a lot of his solo hunts too. I'm just blown away with the amount of detail he gets.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen the ones with his wife, taking his wife out, or his kids. I mean, it's really, really cool. So
His wife's got one of the cooler ones. She was, she's gonna hit me because I don't remember, but she was a couple weeks before her due date and got a deer.
oh, really?
Yeah, she
That's
goes out
really
hunting pregnant. And I mean, granted, she doesn't go get it. Andrew goes and gets it, but still, it's like, hey, that's cool.
Yeah, I was talking with him. I saw him at the local rural king recently. Yeah. He's getting into waterfowl hunting, and just wherever he's at, it's just this honey hole for trophy black ducks. We're like, oh, bro, like, and I guess he realizes it, but he also doesn't realize that he's got this little hot spot for these ducks. So he's a rad dude, and again, it speaks volumes of friendship and brotherhood to get you out there and do that for you, dude.
Yeah, and that's what I told him going into it. I was like, I want to get it. I want to cut it myself, harvest it myself. Like, I want to do the whole. Yeah, I want the full thing. I don't want to just like, okay, I shot it. You do the. It was like, show me how to do every bit of it.
Yeah. So you talk to me about because we had talked about this before. Talk to me about the approach on the animal, and what your experience was when because you shoot the deer, it runs off. You got that adrenaline rush. Like I'm telling you, like guys that hunt all the time know exactly what you're talking about, right? And you let it go and expire, and then you guys get down and you go down and you go to retrieve it. What was the experience like? And paint the picture for us when you walk up on this and you finally see the animal and you retrieve it.
Just like overwhelmed in a way. Like I said, I had prayed before the hunt, I prayed during the hunt, and this I think was just like the Lord looking out for me, just being like, hey, you did good. Here's one of my creatures that, it's his time. And even with some of the meat we had harvested, I'd given to family and friends and stuff like that. And it was like, this is, I may be killing an animal, and that's always sad, but the result of that is it's going to be blessed, and it's going to bless these families, going to bless these friends, Andrew blessed me with the knowledge of the hunt. But again, just walking up on the deer and almost Bob Ross, like just a painting, the sun rays coming through the trees, like you're in nature, which, talk to different people. I believe that truly is the Lord's domain, is just nature and everything of the world. But he almost just like he was like, here you go, my child. Here's this. You did well. You did good. You put a good, clean shot on it. Didn't suffer. Because from the initial shoot to it running up the hill, once it reached the crest of that hill, it pretty much just laid down. And Andrew was like, it's going to go quick, but we're going to wait for, the other deer to kind of skip. Because, normally you think gunshot. Yeah. Gunshot, they'll run away. No, gunshot, they went and laid down. Yeah. They were like, we're chilling. So.
Oh, and it's, you said you guys talked about two things that I don't care how many times you do it. It doesn't matter how many times you walk up on a deer, you still get pumped that you shot right. I mean,
dude.
A doe or a one-horn split, whatever. I mean, you're still pumped that you did it. And, and I don't care how many times you shot a deer, until you see it go down, unless you see it drop right there, you don't know. And then that goes into what we just talked about too. So it's such a cool experience.
Tell us about, tell us about the neighbor who had an opportunity on that deer prior, because, Chris just said, like, sometimes you take the shot and, the deer runs off and you don't know if you got it or not.
The day before, his neighbor who runs alongside his hillside gully, I'm not sure the age, but I believe he was about 8. His son had taken a shot at that same deer the day before and was just all sorts of messed up and sad because it, they couldn't find any blood trail, nothing like that. So when Andrew and I recovered it, we were looking it over, and on the back of his neck was just a nice through and through that we were assuming is where this kid hit it. So that was nice to kind of give him some peace and be like, hey, the deer's down. It's not suffering if it was suffering, but at least that deer that has been claimed.
Yeah, deer are tough. And what Chris was talking about is, you don't know until you see that deer down. until you walk up on it. And so I can imagine what was going through that young hunter brain, because it happens. But so most of the time we don't get somebody to call us the next day and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
That deer, we found it, or, we harvested that deer. I know it's Chris's favorite term, but
yeah.
So I think that was a really cool part of the story too, that you were able to bring peace to the guy on the neighboring property and let them know, hey, that deer's not out here wounded game somewhere.
Yeah. And like, I believe that of all hunting culture is that you want to find it, even if like bad shot, you at least want to put the animal out of its suffering. You never go into it with the intention to do that. But like, just from who I know of Andrew, they've made shots on deer and then have also just been out to like 11 midnight looking for it, because they're either it fell somewhere and they're just like, their main priority is like, well, we at least want to make sure it's okay and recover it. That's the goal. But they're like, I mean,
you want that. You want that actual, I have it or I don't, or it's okay. And you want that.
Yeah, you want that closure.
Closure. That's the word I was looking for. So, segue into that as we go into some more stuff real quick. Dan, and tell us about how you got hooked up with 3B and my guys and come out to pheasant hunts with us, and just talk about how much fun we have with that pheasant hunt every year, buddy.
Well, that's from working with you at the jail. That's how I know that group. Yeah. But got invited out. You were like, hey, we do duck hunting and we do pheasant hunting. And I was like, I've done neither of those things. So the next one you have, invite me. And he invited me. And that's a trip. Pheasant hunting, you don't know where out of the grass this thing's going to pop out of. I've done it twice now and been successful both times. And a little bit of the same as shooting the deer. When you do land a shot on a pheasant, you're like, "Ooh, let's go!" Dude, it's fun. But I mean, even like going through the hunting, we had a couple. I think at the last one, you had a couple newbies, or at least new to the area, do it, and like, not for nothing, the one guy was asking me questions, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm as green as this as you are." So like, I'll tell you what I know, but really these are the masters over here. Like I can only help so much, but overall it was an awesome experience. It's a blast. And then the cookout afterwards and making fun of everybody to just, goofing around. That's the best part.
It's one of those things that I don't care how many times you shoot at things, or you shoot clay birds, or you do traps or skeet, you're going to miss, or it's going to come up on you, or like, even for me, and I can make it sounds like an excuse, and maybe it is, the first one I think me and you shot at, we missed because I was trying to let my son shoot it, and then you shot it, and this thing was moving. Yeah. So I shoot right away, and then I look like an idiot because I'm trying to take this really far shot at this bird, and and then it's the pressure because you're the first ones up, so we draw numbers. So there was a bunch of us last year, and like Dennon said, there was some kids. Even one of my sons came for the first time. I had some cousins that were younger come for the first time, and they brought their kids, and it was like a bunch of people. So we draw numbers. So the first 3 people go up. You're the first to flush the bird, main shooter, 2 backups, and then you rotate through. But the first 3 are being watched by the rest of the group. So it's like cameras.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure, cameras out. And then it was like, okay, I'll do the first one to get it out of the way. Here's the guy that set it all up and helped do all this thing. No pressure at all for me to have success for the day. And then I missed the first one, But that was a fun day. Last year was fun because I actually got kind of bummed because it was spread out. And I felt like we weren't getting as many until we got back and everybody started pulling them out of their packs.
Yeah.
And then we lined them all up. And I was like, oh, okay. That was really cool. That was fun.
The reveal at the end is always fun because, like you said, you're walking through, you're like, I mean, I think we got them, but unfortunately, I think a bunch of them just wandered off. And then you get to the truck and, just pulling them out of like a magic bag. They're like, here's 10, here's 11, we're like, okay, we did good. We did good.
Yeah. And then just firing up the grills and stuff and turning some music on and letting the guys all sit together and be guys. To me, that's my favorite part. Like me and my brother, Josh, that's been on here, we almost look forward to that more than the hunt sometimes. Like, okay, let's go chill. Let's get the chairs out, and hang out. So,
yeah, as we grow older, we don't take the time to hang out, as much. Usually you got your small circle of friends, but, you got your family, and you spend most of your time with your family. And so when you got opportunities to come together with other guys and, sit at the tailgate and, cook some meat or sit around the campfire or whatever it is, we guys really enjoy that, and I know gals do too. But yeah, that's it. One of the things that Dennon said that I really appreciate is, you get new guys to show up and they're just asking questions.
Yeah.
And I think in the outdoor community, it doesn't matter whether you're hunting, you're fishing, you're hiking, whatever it is that you're about. People are willing to help others along.
Yeah.
Even if you only know a little bit, like you just gotta know a little bit more than the next guy. And if you're willing to share that, you're helping them along, and so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a really fun demographic, whether we're duck hunting or whether we're doing that, or even when we have gone rabbit hunting before, because, I'm older than some of the guys, but I have been doing it as long as some of these guys. So I'm asking younger guys.
Yeah.
And younger guys are asking Dennon, who's asking other people. It's like it's just this circle of like, okay, I'm not sure. Ask this guy. Hey, what do you think about this? I don't know. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Well, I think it did this. So it's this really cool Lion King kind of circle of life thing,
So Dennon, do you enjoy pheasant hunting more than deer hunting now? Are you hooked?
Nah, I definitely put deer hunting up there first. Pheasant hunting's fun, and probably bow fishing comes in at a low third. But it's like you said, you're not, especially bow fishing. Sorry, you're not always as successful right away. You kind of got to like move in water, angle, refraction of light, and all that math stuff. But what it doesn't matter who it is on the boat when they land a fish and they say fish on, the whole boat is like, yes, we got, and just as the night gets longer, it gets colder because you're on the water. Like that just, it amps you up more to be like, okay, where are they at now? Where's it? Every aspect I think of the different hunts is it's its own experience. It's its own excitement, if that makes sense. I definitely would say the deer hunt is my all-time favorite. I'm looking forward to getting back into that.
Yeah.
Hopefully I have time this year to figure it out. But
the type of personality you have, you like to sit in the quiet. You're with your thoughts. That's your podcast, right? You like to sit and reflect. So to have that time, and my brother's the same way. My brother's, I'm not assuming you're a hyper person, but my brother's a hyper person, but he enjoys deer hunting because it makes him sit down. It makes him reflect. It makes him chill out. I'm not trying to speak for him, but he'll tell you the same thing, and there's people that are like that. Now everybody needs that. You need to have that time to watch the sun come up and see the woods come alive and get your first deer after 3 hours and then go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So that's it's definitely not normal to get your deer that soon, although it does happen like that sometimes, and then two, to catch it on video, like super cool. So you can find that at what is that, GNS Outdoors?
GNS Outdoors on YouTube.
We'll link to that in the episode description, and if you want to check out that video. But very cool, Dennon. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your tactical brand that you guys are launching? That's a new effort, right?
Yeah, my buddy Pete from the sheriff's office is on SWAT, and him and I like a bunch of the like online shirt gun companies, stuff like that. And just from shooting ideas to each other about stuff, it was kind of like, well, we could make one. How hard could it be? And it's actually pretty difficult. I'm a decent artist. I can get by, and I'm honing my skills every day, trying to draw a little bit more and just have, a next set of skills come up, stuff like that. But it just I'm limited when it comes to tactical stuff. I know how to shoot. I know how to dress my guns. I know how to go through all my gear and everything like that. But Pete's experience from being on SWAT, knowing tactical movements, call out, breaching, all that kind of stuff. That's also where this comes in too, is maybe not on his team, but just from what you see online, everyone has a different perspective or a way to do it. And, Pete being the level of shooter that he is compared to, say, someone like me that just, I can shoot a target and I'm good. But Pete's experience is like, okay, this is how you draw from this angle. You're under pressure. Let's, put you through pressure shooting. Because not for nothing, most of the times I've ever shot or anything, it's at a station, aim, fire, and then
right.
That's unfortunately, if you ever were to get into shooting, that's whoever you're shooting at isn't going to be like station, aim, that's not how it goes. So him implementing through the classes that he's running through the company is like, okay, he's going to stress you. He's going to make you throw weighted bags around, get your body into a state of like adrenaline pumping. You got to remain calm, even though you got all this. It's in a way kind of like hunting. You're adrenalized because you're going to make the shot, but you want to make sure it's clean. So you got to remember your breathing and just stay calm and get a good shot. But it's also our take on the gun community. It's just it's kind of a mess at the moment with some of the companies, but that's their own puddle of mess to stick in. We're going to stick in our lane and just try and have some fun. We got some goofy stuff coming down the pipeline.
So he does classes and you guys make shirts?
Make shirts and stickers, and he runs classes.
Awesome.
He's at a level and experience where he can teach classes. And past, I believe he's done 3. They're either daytime. He even has night vision classes. We'll show you how to run through night vision stuff. So it's another place to learn.
It's awesome. What's it called?
Alptraumgruppe. It's a nightmare group in German.
Awesome.
Sweet, man. Well, listen, it's been a blast hearing your story. I'm glad that you're part of the collaborative. Excited to, we want to come on Tales of the Loft and tell some stories. And I think, we'll ultimately, we're going to have you come on the roundtable sessions too. And we're going to get into some other non-hunting stuff and go a little bit deeper. But you're welcome back anytime, Dennon. It's great to get you in front of our audience. How can people find you online?
Thank you for having me. I definitely got to get you guys on. We'll have to do a meetup. Granted, I only have 2 microphones, so we're going to have to share, but we'll make it work. But yeah, I'm Yorks on Instagram, Alptraumgruppe on Instagram, and then Tales from the Loft on Instagram and Facebook. And if you want to find the actual playlist or like podcast playlist, it's only on Spotify. So Spotify, Tales from the Loft.
Right on. We'll link to all of those contacts in the description as well. Final words, Chris?
Nah, man. Love hearing your stories, man. Miss hanging out with you. And got to do it again sometime, dude.
Yeah, buddy. Miss you too.
All right, bro.
All right, Dennon. Well, thanks for coming on, man. Glad, like I said, to introduce you to the audience, and looking forward to hearing more from you as we go down this journey together. So for everybody else, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Thank you for the support. We always want to remind you guys to get outdoors, enjoy the wild, and remain wild in all things that you do. Catch you later.
See you guys.
See ya.